What's up, guys? It's Crash, and it still continues to, have all indicators pointing to extraction type game modes, extraction games becoming the next big thing like Battle Royales were a few years ago. And right along those lines, it sounds like Krafton and PUBG Studios is scrapping making another Battle Royale, and they're throwing their hat in that ring and going to start working on, or they have been working on, an extraction style shooter. So I thought this was pretty big news and interesting. So what I want to do in this video is hit you guys with the news quickly and efficiently right here at the front, and then get into some opinions towards the end of the video and talk about just a little bit how I think this could work out, because I love talking about that kind of stuff, industry-wide news and things like that. So we'll get into that a little bit, and then at the end I would love for you guys to comment down below what you think of this, because we'll talk about it. But I really hope and I think it'll come to consoles, and they definitely need some more, because as you guys know, this game mode has been popularized by Escape from Tarkov. So you have Tarkov on one end of the spectrum, incredibly hardcore, takes a lot of clicks, very involved to even learn what to do, and then DMZ kind of bringing that to the masses, to everyone on console and on PC, but in my opinion maybe just a little bit light on progression and rewards at this point. So something in the middle would be good, and this could allegedly, potentially, maybe be just that. So what is actually going on? So Krafton talked about this in a recent earnings call. They showed their project introduction of everything they have in their pipeline, and the one we are interested on is the one on the left, Project Black Budget. It's challenging ourselves to popularize the extraction shooter genre based on our PUBG production and service experience, which I think is huge, and we're definitely going to talk about at the end of the video, because PUBG, if you left it several years ago like I have, it's not the same game if you go back to it. A lot has been added and changed to that game. What they want to do is make an ever-changing PvPvE open world and satisfying gunplay that deliver unpredictable and exciting experiences. And they're considering releasing on PC, console, and mobile. So that's really important, and we'll get back to that later. A little funny side note, if you look at this graphic, they're also working on a game called Project Gold Rush, which is allegedly supposed to be a Fortnite competitor, which is kind of funny because, as you guys know, Fortnite released not as a BR, saw the success of PUBG, and then made a pretty close kind of, I don't want to say copy due to copyright reasons and court orders and things, but they did get sued by PUBG for a little bit for copying the Battle Royale mode. So I think that's kind of funny. It's kind of working in reverse now, where Krafton is going to make a Fortnite type game. So anyway, I digress. What other information do we know? So the Loadout made another article and got a little bit more information, and was able to confirm that it is PUBG Studios that is working on this game. It's not another studio under the Krafton or Tencent umbrella. So we do know that PUBG, and that's what makes us think that PUBG 2 was allegedly in the works, but is essentially probably scrapped in the movement of this extraction royale direction. And they did confirm that by the quote of saying, "We can confirm that an extraction shooter under the title of Project Black Budget is currently in development at PUBG Studios." And then we can also look at that name of Black Budget, making us think kind of military, Black Ops, kind of, special ops kind of stuff like that. So it might be more in the militaristic style. And then the other piece of information that we were able to get from the Loadout article is that Project Black Budget will launch in either 2024 or 2025. So not too far off. If they're not even sure what platform they're on, it kind of makes us think maybe 2025 is going to be more of the time frame for that one. And I just want to say, kind of getting more into my opinions on this, it could work out pretty well. I don't want to be too optimistic given the track record of games lately, but it really seems like PUBG and the PUBG Studios would be really geared for developing this kind of game mode. This is similar to, I just think back to when DICE announced they were going to have the Battle Royale with Firestorm, and I thought the Frostbite engine is a really good engine. DICE is already good at making large maps. They're good at having large servers at the time, and this is kind of along the same lines with PUBG, and they've really supported their game since becoming free to play. Even if you guys haven't played PUBG in a long time, like many of us have not, the support is pretty darn good. They're up to 9 maps, and of those maps, they have dynamic weather too, night modes. They've added a lot of stuff to that. They've even already dipped their toes into PvPvE with the map of Haven. They even have AI vehicles on there, and there's also some bosses on there. So they are kind of already have a lot of those things and working in the Unreal Engine, which I think would make a console release, fairly easier. Unreal 5 is what I would assume this to be working on, because PUBG has always been an Unreal Engine game, but they've added a ton of stuff, guys. On top of the night modes, the dynamic weather, there's thermal scopes in there now. They've even added polar bears in the last update. Updates are coming fairly frequently still. They've even added polar bears. I just saw an update with you can drive a food truck around. They have drones, gliders. They even have foldable bikes you can put in your backpack, unfold, drive around the map. There's tons of gadgets. I got in and played a few weeks ago, and there were a lot of things in the game I didn't even know what they did. They've had a lot of different modes too. They've had, you know, kind of your own TDMs. They've had intense battle royales where it's like 16 players with 10 minutes left and everybody fights to the end. There's been a lot of different kinds of modes. They've even added their own kind of gulag, firing range. There's just a lot of stuff that PUBG is doing, and the new maps look really, really good. You can see in some of the trailers that I'm playing behind me. So I feel like PUBG Studios is really well equipped to make an extraction type game mode, and I think there is a place for one. As I mentioned earlier, when you guys get into Tarkov, there is a lot of stuff to learn. There's a lot of tediousness to it. After a raid, you have to move stuff around in your stash, sort that out. You have to sell it. There's so many clicks. A lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes engine wise that once you get into Tarkov and get comfortable with it, you're going to start to see netcode issues, audio issues, and some stuff like that still in beta. And then we go over to DMZ on the flip side of that, which some of the charm of DMZ is that it gets rid of all that, right? Like, it's a lot easier to just get going, get into a raid, have fun with your friends. But at the same time, it's a little bit shallow on the rewards, in my opinion. You're grinding for an insurance slot. With the new prestige system, XP really doesn't mean that much. You kind of get contraband and weapon skins, which are real good, but a lot of the weapon skins are guns that you're not going to want to use very often. So there's not a lot of rewards right now in DMZ, although there is a lot of content. But technically, that game is also in beta, right? So we really don't have a large mainstream. You could look at kind of Hunt Showdown, but again, just on PC. We really don't have a large popular extraction mode yet that's not in beta. So this could be the first one of those. I thought this was definitely newsworthy, and PUBG Studios could be equipped to handle this. They have a lot of stuff going on. They've added a lot of different mechanics since you've probably played PUBG last. They're very good at getting stuff done with the Unreal Engine, and Unreal 5 looks like they could do some really neat things. I think the PvPvE, the AI is going to be really important. I think in kind of DMZ, there's almost too much AI and they get a little bit watered down. And then when you go to play Tarkov, some of the AI acts really silly and will headshot you through a bush and you lose a lot of the stuff you've been working on. It can be really frustrating. So I think working on that AI is going to need to be really tasteful. And the way they've done it in the Haven map isn't too bad. So hopefully they can figure that out and balance it and use some of the things they've learned with this PUBG live service and bring a wide variety of gameplay styles and dynamic changes to raids into the game. But that's pretty much all I had for now, guys. That's all we know. We'll definitely keep an eye on it on this channel. It could be a really fun game. We'll talk more about it on the Scope tomorrow night for the live show. I would love to see you there. I'd love to see you in the comments. And be a friend, tell a friend, and we'll see you later on.